Hey Warriors, happy first day of March, happy National Opportunity Month. Today we kick off an incredible month-long celebration where we share the Athena's opportunity. I am so grateful to all the team leaders who are organizing now events and every team member who is vowing to help plan, organize, and attend these events. I am also excited to announce a now contest. I will be giving away a trip to Bermuda to one lucky March recruit and their recruiter. Oh yes, I want you to join over 100 Goddesses and Adoni who are headed for a week of rest and relaxation this October. Every recruit who joins in the month of March can earn raffle tickets for this journey to the pink sandy beaches of Bermuda. The contest flyer will be posted in the WOW, War, and New pages tonight. The social media images to support this contest will also be uploaded to the pages and sent out in an email. So the content of our final Warriors United call is about creating a team culture. It's perfect timing once again, as many new teams will be born this month, and established teams will certainly be growing. So it's time to be present and focus on the learning. So close down your social media, take great notes. Nicki is ready to finish this series with information that will help you become a powerful team leader with a healthy team culture. Your first code word is Warriors, Warriors. Your first code word is Warriors. And here she is, one last time until Golden Circle Breakfast in September, Nicki Keohohou.
Hello, this is Nicki Keohohou, CEO and co-founder of the DSWA and faculty member of the International Coach Excellence Schools. I am sorry to say that this is our final call in the WOW War series. It's been a pleasure to work with all of you for the past few months. I encourage each of you to participate in the Athena's Booking Blitz on March the 7th. Also remember that March is our big push for recruiting. It's the National Opportunity Month, where Jen asks team leaders to host and recruits to attend recruiting events. You all usually recruit about 100 to 125 people during the National Opportunity Month. So jump in and make this your best recruiting month ever and a record breaker for Athena's. In this call, I'm using the term leader throughout the call for all of you. You may not have one person on your team yet, and you showed your leadership by being on this call. You are a leader, whether you know it or not. So today's training is all about developing a team culture. You'll discover how leaders form and lead cohesive teams of independent entrepreneurs. We'll talk about what makes your team attractive and welcoming. You'll learn how the leader positively shapes the way their teams talk, interact, and honor the company. You're also going to discover 3 ways to cultivate a healthy team culture, which includes practice and lead by example, promoting effective communication, and celebrating, which I love, and learning together. Culture is the component that can make or break your sense of community. And if you don't create your culture, your team will. And it may not be the type of organization you would choose to lead. If you are purposeful and promote respect for all, it will strengthen your organization. You see, creating a deliberate culture is worthy of your time and attention. It's an investment that will pay you back in dividends now and for years to come. The leader of any team, company, or corporation determines the attitude of the entire organization. So when you emulate a healthy team attitude or culture, you will have a thriving and successful organization. And I know that's what all of you want. So think about some of the corporations where you may have worked in the past. Did you notice that if the leader had a poor outlook, that all the people that worked with him did as well. That wasn't a fun place to be. Aren't you glad you're in Athena's? It's a different culture here. So when the team leader or leader of an organization has a healthy outlook, then the entire team will follow. So I just have to tell you a little story here because it'll make sense to you, I know. Many years ago, I worked for a large direct selling company as a VP of sales and marketing. The owners brought in an investor partner who was to be my boss and lead the way. I was so excited at the beginning when she said she would make the whole organization better. I really believed her. I realized quickly that she was out to create an environment of competition versus collaboration and leading from a position of authority and threat. Either you do this or I'm going to fire you. Either you do this or you're not going to get a raise. Either you're going to do this or it was always at a threat. She scolded team members in front of others, took favorites, and divided the internal staff as well as the field. It was a slippery downhill slope from there. And when things were falling apart, what did she do? Blame everyone else and took no responsibility for the situation. The culture was destroyed, and so was the company. Not a good place to be. So you see, great leaders of any organization walk the walk and talk the talk. They create the pathway for others to follow. When the leadership role model asks for one thing and says another, then it can be tough for the team to follow. You see, your attitude as a leader, your healthy attitude, must be multifaceted and balanced. So from a sales perspective, most companies have sales requirements, and the leader must meet and exceed them, hands down. When you, the leader, are setting the sales example, your team will follow in your footsteps. Another point is that great leaders have a fully booked calendar, and as a result, have a team who also has a full calendar. When you have a full calendar and teach your team to market their business by example, they too will use all resources to generate leads and bookings. When I was in the field, my leader and I moved up quickly in the organization. My leader stopped doing the work that it took for her to get there because she saw me doing the work. She liked to watch me work. So as a result, I lost respect for her and didn't feel supported. I actually felt taken advantage of. Not a good situation. So leaders set an example for the team culture. Continuing with your role as a leader, not only does it apply to sales or bookings, but it also applies to many other facets of your business. Let's start with recruiting. With a caring and sharing leadership model, the team will automatically follow suit. In other words, you're recruiting, they will recruit. Be aware of your word choices. We all know that words are powerful, so speaking and using word choices that encourage your team to be successful is a habit that is developed with practice and commitment. At the DSWA, we call this empowering language or enlightened vocabulary. And I know you've heard me speak about that in a few other previous calls. So here's a difference. The difference between saying if as opposed to when in a sentence makes a big difference. So this is an example of that by saying, when you move up in Athena's, you will find that you will grow in your leadership. Let me say that again. When you move up in Athena's, you're going to find that you will grow in your leadership, as opposed to how most people speak. If you move up in Athena's, you could grow in your leadership. Not very powerful. So think about your word choices and how you speak. You see, the small differences plant the seeds of greatness. Plant the seeds to have people see what's possible. Now let's talk about earning incentives. Usually the company incentives are pretty well thought out, as you know. As a leader, your plan must be to earn them all so that your team will aspire to do it as well. Most top achievers will be able to earn the corporate incentives in less time than given. It means don't wait, jump in and show the way. When you do that, others will say, oh, I can do that too. So are you on track to earn the next big incentive or award? What are you doing to make that possible? An incentive is really designed for the average person to be able to earn when they stretch themselves, not when they don't stretch themselves. It's not easy, but if you are that person that is willing to stretch yourself, pretty good chance that you can earn that incentive. As a leader, your plan must be to set the example and earn every single incentive that the company offers. Another key point is being positive in all aspects. So, how do you emulate the company's policies and expectations? How do you model that for others? Remember that any negative remarks that you make about Athena's or other people or gossip that you get sucked into will influence the belief and confidence in your company by your team. So when you create a healthy team culture, your challenges, your concerns, or any negative remarks only go up the ladder, not to your organization and your downline. So how do you set the bar from day one for people? A healthy team culture is one that establishes a bar for all from day one, from the day they step in that door. When you, the leader, have a system in place, you get all the team members off to a great start and emulate the standards necessary for them to do the same. And they will. Ask questions to understand the person and build the coaching relationship. I love this saying, remember, seek first to understand and then be understood. And that's what coaching does. It supports you in understanding your team. You will not create many objections if you let them respond to questions to figure out the situation for themselves. Because you see, people don't object to their own answers. Here's another thought. An interested potential team member may ask you something like, how do I receive training? Again, set the bar for meeting attendance. Successful business people go to the training meetings and calls. So if they ask you about those training meetings, it's an indicator of their level of interest. When you're dealing with the prospect, if they ask about training, they're interested. Stay with them. Your questions for them might be something like, well, how much training and experience do you currently have in direct selling? Maybe they've been in business before. Or how would you like to receive training? They're going to tell you what they're looking for. Or something like, what type of training would be important to you? What type of training would be of service to you? What type of training would allow you to be as successful as possible in this business? Those are good questions to understand the person and their needs. Some additional comments could include, you are in the business for yourself, but you are not alone. You see, the company offers training, and I provide live trainings and conference calls, or you might want to let them know whatever type of training you offer. So let them know training is available. They brought it up, speak to them about it. You see, these questions and responses may alleviate the concern and at the same time set a standard or a level of investment. Because people say, oh, product sells itself, you don't have to do anything. Oh, there's no training required. We do it for you. We'll recruit your people for you. You're setting a bar at a low standard where you're going to have people that will do nothing. This also lets them know that it is up to them to take action and participate. You can't do it for everybody. That's why we never say, I'll walk with you every step of the way. I'm here for you 24/7. Danger, danger, stranger, because guess what? They're going to expect that. So when they join the team, you have already planted the vision of them stepping into the trainings and taking advantage of what you and the company offers. So they will believe that it is normal to go to meetings, and it's normal to share the opportunity. It's normal to go out and get bookings and have a full calendar. That's setting the culture. Do you want a culture of people saying, oh, well, let's see if something happens? Or do you want to set a culture in your organization that people begin immediately and they do what it takes to build a business? Set the expectations before they even sign on the dotted line. And your team will have a meeting culture, regardless of whether it is an online or live meeting, they'll be there because it's an expectation. You don't say to them, I expect this. It's just what we do. So again, we set a leadership example. As a leader, I'm sure you're also going to hear questions or concerns about leadership that are going to become routine to you as well. So once a goddess or an Adoni joins your team, it is time to start asking questions about their thoughts on leadership and treating them as if they are already leaders or at least destined for leadership positions. So here's some questions that you can ask your new team member about moving up the ladder, moving up the ranks, moving up in their success in the business. Here's a great one. What would you like to create in your Athena's business? And these are ones you're going to want to write down because they're good questions. What would you like to create in your Athena's business? Where do you see yourself in a year in this business? What skills do you possess that would support you in growing a team if you chose to? What strengths do you have that would allow you to be successful in this business? So we just continue to plant those seeds for higher levels, for sponsoring or recruiting, for personal development. We continue to let people know what that's about. That is setting the culture of a moving forward in momentum organization. You don't have to wait for your team to ask questions or express a concern or want to know something about leadership. As a leader, you can create aspiring leaders by your word choices in daily conversations, by planting seeds in conversations about meetings or coaching calls with your team. They will all result in a growing team and a recruiting culture. So take the time to think of a few seeds that you can plant in conversations that will later grow your leadership pool. You know, you're in this business. Is it a hobby or is it really a business? Do you have a desire to do something more than just take a few orders? To build a big business means you create the culture that is a business culture. We're accepting of all that comes to the business. We love everyone. Where do you put your time? Where do you invest most of your time? What do you want out of this business? You get clarity, and you get clear about that for other people, and they get clear. You got a team on fire. So to create a desire for higher levels might sound something like, how would moving up in the business impact you and your family? How would moving up in the business impact you and your family? Or to create a desire for recruiting, you might ask something like, whose life could you positively impact with an opportunity such as this? Now I know I'm moving through all this kind of quickly. Go back to this recording and listen to it again. Get these questions sorted by category so that you can use them on a regular basis within your organization. Now, if you wanted to create a desire for team meetings, it's what would you like to see happen at our team meetings this quarter? In other words, get their input. Sometimes we just do bookings and selling and recruiting and bookings and selling and recruiting, and your people are bored. So they stop coming to the meeting. So find out what they want and give it to them. Maybe they want to know about professional image. Maybe they want to know about tax benefits. Maybe they want to know how to establish rapport. I don't know what they want to know, but if you don't ask them, you don't either, so you're guessing. Here's another question. How would you like to contribute to our team meetings? Because guess what? When they are in contribution, they are all in. When they can contribute, they are a part of the solution. You know, we have people that show up in our business that are sort of like observers. They kind of watch things happen. And then we have those people who make things happen. And we've also got those people that come into the business and wait and getting ready to get ready and get ready to get ready. And they wonder what happened. Who do you want to attract into your organization? See, I love people that make things happen. Find out who they are, find out what they want, and support them to make more things happen. We want to model the importance of personal development by letting our teams know the training that you are receiving both inside the company and through outside resources such as the DSWA. Let them know about new ideas you have applied or teaching new concepts. Let them know that you're a student because that will increase their desire to be a student. Sometimes our own team goes, wow, she's been at this 5 years. She knows everything. They don't have any clue that you are a student of this profession and that you continue to grow and go. You don't just stand on what you learned before. Because remember, to be a great leader, when you start off in the business, you have to know X, Y, and Z. To be a great leader, you've got to know more and do more. You can't do the exact same things you did before. There are additional things that you're going to be doing. So don't be afraid to step up and step out and find out what you're missing in your repertoire of education and go after it and go get it. You're on this call. You already have that desire. That's a great thing. So again, we want to plant the seeds and set a bar that your team will follow. So let's move on to how to encourage positive communication within your culture and your organization. So it's between you and your team, between the team, which creates the collaboration and support. So all of your team members, we got to get them to have positive communication. And we have positive communication with our customers. Communication is the key to all relationships. Sales happen as a result of relationship building. Recruitment happens as a result of relationship building. Parties happen as a result of relationship building. See, you're in the relationship with your company, your team, and your customers. Your team is in relationship with you and each other as well as their customers. A team leader who has an open door policy will be a team leader who develops team camaraderie and a loyal customer base. Open door means you're approachable. They can talk to you. That doesn't mean you're available 24/7. It means you have office hours, but they know if they call you, you're going to call them back. Again, it's a culture of respect within your organization. Your team members are your customers. Take the time to listen to them, understand who they are, and understand what makes them unique. Appreciate the differences in them. They're not all going to be alike. They're not all going to be like us or you or somebody else. We've got to appreciate the differences in them. So that communication means we check our email regularly. We respond to our email. You see, every good business owner checks and responds to their email and their voicemail regularly. Be prepared for your outbound calls. Always leave a message. With technology today, it's essential that you have a legitimate reason to call. So when you know that reason, then you will be able to create a voicemail message before you make the call. Maybe it's a special. Maybe it's your upcoming things that are happening in March. What is it that you're going to leave that voicemail about? And again, when you leave that voicemail, you want to speak more of the language of the person. If they're very detailed, it's a detailed message. If they're a little more, hi, I'm so glad you called. I'll call you back when I can. It's a brief message. If it's a person that is, thank you for calling. Please leave your name, your number, your email, your area code, your time zone. That's a detailed person. So if you said, hi, this is Nicki, give me a call back, they're never going to call you back. So think about the voicemail that you're going to leave before you call. You see, effective messages will get more return calls. Your team members are your customers, and be available with specific office hours, and be sure to match the communication style to that of each team member. Speak their language. And if you don't understand what DISC is, got a lot of information probably in your back office. We have it in DSWA. It's about behavioral styles. It's a critical thing to learn. So another point I want to make, because I've got a lot tonight, is encourage team camaraderie. through team meetings, team incentives, and face-to-face meetings. When your team develops relationships, you will always have improved team retention. A group of leaders who talk and communicate regularly have fun together, and they will become more committed to their own business and to the group. Communication between you and the team is essential. Even more effective in developing a team culture is encouraging your team to develop relationships amongst themselves. They can become friends. They can become comrades. They can become coaches for each other. They can support one another. So there are many ways to do this at team meetings and through sales incentives, newsletters, and in connecting your long distance team with your local team. So a couple of quick examples might be simple little icebreaker games at your live meetings to get the team talking to each other. Get them connecting. Just go online and Google icebreakers for meetings and you'll find a ton of them. You might want to create an incentive for the team that requires them to visit another person's parties. Be there as a student, on-the-job training. There might be a little incentive around that. You might have a meetup or a Skype or a Zoom meeting online and share with the long-distance team. Get them involved. You might want to host activities that are just for fun, just to build the relationship. Slumber parties, of course, if it's all the women, might be kind of interesting without that, but slumber parties or sports activities, going bowling, pool parties, picnics, those kinds of things make people feel part of the community and love being part of the culture. So can you think of ways that you can create team dynamics and relationships that bond the team together? Take a few minutes after this call to create a plan for those team activities. Now, I'm going to go on a little bit more because this is all part of your culture. For a few of my favorite topics, celebrating, learning, and recognizing. So in conjunction with the communication and that team camaraderie is the team dynamics of celebration, learning, and recognition. Whether you have a local team or a long-distance team or both, putting systems in place that encourage learning and growth as a team will create a culture that develops healthy relationships. So, what can you do to connect, learn, and grow your entire team no matter where they live? Think about that and get a plan to make it happen. You know, when you have your national conference or leadership conference, what are you doing as that team leader to pull your group together? Sometimes groups will wear t-shirts alike or have hats alike or they, have the clappers that are alike. They have a dinner that's just them. They do things together to build those relationships. So what again can you do to make that happen? How do you celebrate team growth and milestones along the journey? We've all been to meetings that celebrate recognition, and most often that recognition celebrates the task or the occurrence. What would it be like to focus on recognition regarding the person as opposed to what they did? We often hear recognition like this. Yippee! Look at Lisa. She had the highest party average of the month. Way to go, Lisa. You must have been very awesome at your hostess coaching. Here's the thing. You notice that it's about the performance-based recognition. And it's about what she does, not who she is. So you see, not everybody can do that. But guess what? When you recognize the qualities of the person, their characteristics, not the task, other people see themselves in that picture. So here's a different way to do this. I would like to acknowledge Lisa for her efforts in overcoming her fear of making calls. Lisa achieved higher sales this month as a result of her bravery. She embraced to call potential and past customers. Lisa, you are courageous. Thank you for being a role model for our team. So it was courage, bravery. That's how she was recognized. Not the doing, the being. So as you can hear, that second example is all about what it took for Lisa to accomplish the higher selves, not what she did. So growing as a team with your team and keeping the focus on people rather than the tasks will create a culture that supports all. I've covered a lot of things tonight. I want to just, in conclusion, talk about your team culture and how it depends on you. You see, if you don't create the culture, your people will. So we want to practice and lead by example. We want to promote effective communication. We want to celebrate and learn together. Remember, it's up to you, that leader, to cultivate a healthy team culture. Your team culture is a reflection of who you are being as much as the things you are doing. You're setting the tone for your team culture. So I'd like to leave you with one powerful self-coaching question for you to embrace this team culture thought. What one step can I take to improve and develop a healthier team culture? Just one. What one step can I take to improve and develop a healthier team culture? But I got to give you one other one just because I can't help it. What can I do as a member of the Athena's family to improve and develop a stronger team culture, a stronger community? What can I do? You know, sometimes we wait for somebody else to do it, yet we get to lead the way ourselves. Again, this is Nicki, Keohohou, CEO and co-founder of the Direct Selling World Alliance and the Coach Excellence School. Be sure to connect with DSWA on social media. We want to stay with you. We offer daily tips that will support you in growing as a leader. I want to thank Athena and Jen for the opportunity to contribute to your lives. I look forward to meeting all of you in person at an upcoming event or in one of the DSWA online trainings. Thank you and aloha.
Thank you, Nicki. Well, as on every call, I have lots of notes and typed out a list of Nicki's very helpful questions from this call. So I'll post those questions in the WOW and WAR pages for your convenience. So I'm looking forward to reading your aha moments from this final call. And every call in this series was just so insightful, each laced with wisdom and easy to implement ideas. I hope you found this series useful to you and your business. You know, Nicki is certainly one of my favorite people in direct sales, and she'll be visiting us live and in person in September for Athena's Golden Circle Breakfast. You don't want to miss the opportunity to be in a room with this woman and feel her warmth. It's just incredible. So while the learning series of this session is now over, there's still blitzes, Now Month, teletrainings, and the April BBW all coming your way. The first, though, is the March Business Building Blitz, which is next Tuesday. So it's time for a rematch in the Blitz battle, veterans versus the new community. So Goddess and Adonis number 1 through 9,999 versus Goddess 10,000 through Goddess Adonis number 10,719, I believe is where we're at. So that basically splits the company in half. So if the veterans book the most parties, this coming Tuesday, I will give away 5 $100 shopping sprees to random veterans who participate. If the new community wins, I will give 5 random $100 shopping sprees to newbies who participated in the Blitz. Remember, veterans, whether you win or lose, you win either way, truly, because your team members will be working. And each team has the chance to win the recruiting challenge, too. So whichever team has the most people that join on Blitz Day, I will raffle off a womanizer to a random recruiter from that winning team. So get those Who Do You Know lists ready, get your open date sheets out, and get ready to fill them up. You have a few days to prepare for this new battle. So I will announce the winners on Wednesday, March 8th in the WOW and WAR and New Facebook pages, and we will announce the winners in the Friday Blast email next week. So to wrap up this series, I'd like to remind you that the directions to submit your code words will be posted on the Wow and More pages. They're listed in the email that contain this link and are also listed on the Google Doc. So find and follow the directions. And submitting your code words by midnight on Warrior Wednesday means that you will be entered to win a free Valentine's Day booster kit, which is a retail value of $300. So your final code word is United, UNITED. Your final code word is United. Thank you for being part of this series. As you know, I have always been and still am totally devoted to providing opportunities for learning and growth for each and every Athena's goddess and Adonis. Nothing is more important to me. A company filled with educated and skilled people can change the world for the better. And we are. So I appreciate your time and send love and gratitude to you. Now, go create a team culture that reflects the warrior spirit. Goddess bless.